Greetings from my recording studio located in a small barrio in Tegucigalpa, Honduras. In this video, we'll get a visual representation of working with terms and algebraic expressions. Here's the story. I'm working as a sous chef in a small but well-known cafe, and the head chef asked me to prepare a stew. I set my table up like this in preparation for making the stew. What I'd like you to do at this point is write down in words what you see on the table. Start from the left-hand side over here and work your way to the right. Go ahead and pause the video while you work on that. Come back whenever you're finished. I think there's probably a good chance that you wrote something like this: 2 ears of corn and 5 chilies and 4 tomatoes. Look closely to make sure that what I wrote accurately depicts what's on the table. What we'll do now is convert that picture and the description that we have here into an algebraic expression. Here's what that looks like. At the top of this slide, we have the original table layout in words: 2 ears of corn and 5 chilies and 4 tomatoes. We condensed the words into letters. So instead of saying ears of corn, we wrote an E. So 2 ears of corn becomes 2E. 5 chilies becomes 5C. And 4 tomatoes becomes 4T. The word "and" became an addition sign. And this whole thing right here, 2E plus 5C plus 4T, is our expression. Notice that there's no equal sign. All it is just a condensed form of what we saw on the table. Made a chart here for us. 2 columns, items on the left-hand side and terms on the left-hand side. The items are 2 ears, 5 chilies, and 4 tomatoes, and those are simply the foods on the table. But whenever we condensed all of that into this expression, we had these separate parts: 2E for the 2 ears of corns, 5C for the 5 chilies, and 4T for the 4 tomatoes. Terms are just part of an expression separated either by addition or by subtraction. We'll pause for a second for some vocabulary. We have 5 chilies. This number has a special name, and that's coefficient. And chilies has a special name, and that's called units. We'll be using those terms quite extensively, middle school, high school, and into college. Take a little pause to review the video to this point. Be sure that you understand everything that we've done so far, and we'll continue when you get back. Something terrible has happened. While you were on break, someone rearranged the table to look like this. If the head chef sees this, he'll go absolutely berserk. So before we start rearranging this table, what I'd like you to do now is to write down an expression, not the words like ears of corn or chilies, but with letters. Write down what you see on the table. Make it an expression. I think there's a good chance that you wrote something like this. And there should be some addition signs in there. I'll put those in a little while. But this is quite a mess, so we're going to rearrange things to get it a little bit more organized. Kind of follow along. I'm going to rearrange things. I'm going to start by moving this ear of corn over here like this. And whenever I do that, I'm going to do the same thing in the expression. I'm going to move him over to the right-hand side of the table. And then I'm going to clean things up a little bit. I'm going to move the chilies over here. Do the same thing with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and move these chilies over here. And when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and move its term in the expression over like this. Now I have these chilies. I have 3 chilies and 2 chilies. I have 2 tomatoes and 2 more tomatoes. And then I have 1 ear of corn and another ear of corn. And at this point, I'll go ahead and put in some addition signs. Addition sign goes there, addition here, addition here, addition here, and addition here. We're not quite finished yet. What I think I want to do is go ahead and group these chilies a little closer together, group these guys a little closer, and these guys. And whenever I group all of this like this, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing in the expression. So instead of writing 3c plus 2c, I'm going to convert that. 3 plus 2 is going to be 5c to tomatoes. Instead of 2 tomatoes plus 2 tomatoes, I'm going to go ahead and make that 4 tomatoes. And then instead of 1 ear of corn plus 1 ear of corn, I'm going to go ahead and make that 2 ears of corns. And then go ahead and put in the addition sign like this. So we've done quite a bit. You saw that I could represent moving things on the table by moving things in the expression. When I move things in the expression like that, there's a term that we use. It's called the commutative property of addition. You can add things in any order. Doesn't make any difference. They commute. Every day you commute from school to home, from home to school. Means the same thing. These terms can move around just like we did physically with the items on the table. So once all of that is done, we have a nicely organized table. And we have 5 chilies and 4 tomatoes and 2 ears of corn. And we're pretty much finished with organizing the table. The last step we did was grouping these items on the table. We got everything together. And that's exactly the same thing that we did in the expression. We moved everything around first, and then we grouped them to lessen the number of terms that we have. Remember, 3 chilies plus 2 chilies became 5 chilies, as an example. Almost finished. Let's look at the summary. So we're going to compare the table and the expression. On the table we had items, the chilies, the tomatoes, and the ears of corn. And in the expression, instead of items like that, we had terms that represented the items on the table. We were able to move things around on the table. And we saw as we were doing that, we could also move things around in the expression. And that moving things around in the expression has a term, and it's called commutative property of addition. Commutative is from the word commute, which just means to move. Finally, on the table, we grouped similar items together to get a nicely organized table. And whenever we're talking about an expression, that's called combining like terms. Guys, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for learning. And here at the end of the day, there's only one thing left to say. You know what it is, and that is that's all, folks. Be safe. Con cuidado.